syrup? With the syrup, old man? Yeah, nice attached head, Meg. Body, throw potatoes. Winner declared! Okay, guys, I thought we could try to find the ghost by doing the movie Flatliners.
I've never seen it.
Maybe. Oh my god, all right, we are stopping everything right now and watching Flatliners. I'm glad we switched to Caddyshack.
No, Peter, I think I've had enough ghost hunting. I'm done too.
Yeah. Why are you leaving?
Because all you do is screw around. We've been down here for hours and we haven't found a thing.
Maybe that's because you guys don't know the first thing about cats and ghosts.
You know what, Lois was right. Just never listen to you. Come on, guys.
I think you're all just scared.
Yeah? Let's see who's scared.
What are you doing? Turn that light back on. Bye-bye. Help! Someone help me! Hey! Open this door! Don't leave me alone! I was down here all night. Dark.
I see your head. And what?
What? Well, I'm a fat dad with white hair now. Time to become an issue at Hooters after 9 p.m. Hey, Ashley! I know what car is your car. Oh, how'd you get white hair again?
You were scared of a ghost.
Yes, I remember hearing about this in school. Was it a Scooby-Doo?
It's gonna stay, Dr. Hoffman?
No, it's gonna be Dr. Ramirez now. I'm taking my husband's name.
I'm talking about Peter's hair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Waiting on the brain. But as for the white hair, I'm afraid it's permanent. Hi, sweetie. Discuss this. No to the mole. Chocolate is for cake, not chicken. Oh, come on. Crying. What do I do now? I mean, should I dye it back?
I don't know why you'd ask me that. I mean, I don't know anything about that. How does one even go about dyeing one's hair? I've never heard of anything so crazy.
Let me get that for you, Doctor.
What? Oh, no, I'm not a...
Morning, Doctor. Peter, they all think you're a doctor because of your white hair. I have to say, it does make you look more distinguished.
Really? Huh. Maybe this will be a good thing after all. Like a garbage man with no nose.
This is the best job in the world. Rotting meat? What does that smell like? Oh, look, receipts. I'll steal this person's identity. From now on, I'm Robert Dibadoo. So long, stinkies. Not that I would know.
All right, Chris, it's going to take a few steps to get you off hard. First step is soft, but nothing really happens.
Oh, wow. She is just riding that guy. Tell you what.
Yep, that's all we had.
And could watch this at any time?
No, just Friday at 11:45 p.m.
Let me just finish this thing. Yeah, it's so hard. My bad. It's all hard.
Evan, are you still there?
He went to eat.
Yeah.
Upstairs, man.
Hello, ring the bell. Thank you, Bart. The cheese driver. Hey, Chris, I got insanity. So you go away. What? If you leave it alone now, I'll give you a million dollars. You got it. Deal.
Oh, what's in it, bro? Some of them.
Bye.
Just finish this. Yeah, but
Don't look else you're getting.
where's my $2? So you had your. Why don't you just put it in a wall?
Howdy.
Yeah,
Hi.
Luca has a cold. So you're not. The guy from you.
Yeah.
Glad you. What is a pizzle then?
I'm a Spider-Man.
No.
What?
Charger. Because you got.
What?
Gemma. Wait, I do have an Xbox. Put it, baby, sheep.
Wait, is Fortnite online yet?
No. Can you see my stream?
Is it still a black hole?
Yeah. I mean, can you see my stream on Discord?
I'm playing Spider-Man.
I'm streaming it on YouTube too.
Show me what?
The black hole.
Why? How would you stream?
There were
I'm
like
streaming it so I can see it on my phone while I'm not at the computer.
there are 3 YouTubers who were streaming the black hole for 5 hours.
Coming back. Let's go. Yo.
Because they're waiting for the event.
In Canada, yeah.
Fortnite event. See, chapter 2's coming.
Holy shit, did someone literally kick their
That. Yeah,
someone kicked their desk?
Someone say kick off, man. I kicked my desk.
Jesus. Who keeps slamming their face on their desk? I'm fucking ready!
I'm ready for Uno!
Noga really wants to play.
I really want to play Uno, man. The fucking team is back. Terrorizer's got a new team,
If you're
man.
ready, slam your face on your desk right now! Yeah.
I got a concussion.
Lovely.
That's so loud.
It sounds like he's so loud.
FBI! He's got a gun! He's got a gun! He's about to shoot!
So Noga, where are you at the moment? I'm in Los Angeles. Oh, yes, I can tell. So if you're wondering why you can hear no swear words, it's because I found myself a new censor sound.
Yeah, it's called shooting the person who's about to swear.
Brian, you're so full of...
Fucking stupid fucking...
Well, that didn't work. I just shoot him after that.
Okay, 2v2 Uno. This is it.
Oh, yeah.
The Uno has blessed us. Oh!
Oh my god, look at this.
What a start.
Wow.
Nice play,
Oh!
Brian.
Noise.
Exactly what I was going to say to do.
Yeah!
Oh.
Your turn, Brock.
Oh, is
I really want you to have your turn.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry. Oh, nice.
Thought I had a +2, huh?
Yes, I did. Okay, all right.
Huh?
Okay, guys. Today we're gonna
Hey.
give a round of applause for all you guys.
All right,
Okay, so today we are gonna be watching, reacting, looking at, tasting everything that should never be.
This is the...
You know what? The phone inside it, drop it. Smash like. So this is what a blueberry looks like.
I guess all the blue pigment is just in the skin, and that's it.
Wait,
And the
Mom.
inside is just a little
No, but when you
green.
squish it, it's still the same color. It's still like dark blue. I don't get it. What? This is what leaves of a pineapple look like when they're stripped off and laid onto a table.
They give me some kind of weird like
Alright.
whole what is that thing? Tryptophobia or whatever? Hole. Fear of holes.
It's like a bunch of holes.
Yeah, it looks like hole in there. Fear of holes. Oh, more hole fear.
I don't feel like it's properly peeled. I feel like there's
Yeah, I don't
still
think-
some bits that could be peeled.
I still want to eat it though. I love pineapple. Do you like pineapple, Rifty? Rifty-san?
Oompa-chan, I love pineapple.
Pineapple? I have a pen!
Stop, we're gonna get claimed!
Feel free to unsubscribe.
There's a very good reason why you've probably never seen a peeled cherry before.
They look like little...
Looks like a heart or something.
Yeah, it looks like some kind
It's
of...
kind of nasty.
like something living or something. Something living that you shouldn't be able to take out.
Yeah, it's almost as if that cherry was alive at some point.
VeggieTales? Or like that one show, The Annoying Orange Guy. That guy? But annoying...
Annoying orange.
Annoying cherry.
Orange peeled. And it's just screaming.
Alright, and this is actually
Is
really
it a
cool.
raw-
It's an egg with no shell.
How did they do that?
You can dissolve it. You can put it in vinegar and it dissolves it. I've done this before. I've done this. It's really, it's legit.
Cheese, bro.
Yeah, cheese, exactly.
That's how they make cheese.
What? That's not what I said. I said cheese, bro.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, but that looks good though. I mean, imagine just dipping that in, like just tossing that in boiling water and see what happens. Here's
This
a
is
clean-shaven...
clean-shaven lychee.
What's that?
Lychee? What's a lychee? Is it the berry? Lychee berries?
Lychee berry? Yeah, I think it's a lychee berry.
I've seen it before.
A peeled lemon just looks like an orange, but green.
So hilarious. They're citrusy cousins. This one's known for being a slightly more tart than the others.
Just like me and my family. I'm the tart one of the family.
I'm the tart one that only a couple people like.
They call me.
Oh.
Cut that out. That's such a good joke. Pomegranates that are peeled look disgusting. What the heck?
Ew. They're not even that good anyways. Pomegranates are, they're like they're
so
too bitter.
Sour.
Yeah, they're like they're like cranberries, but ugly.
Here's a deshelled coconut. What the hell? That's what a peeled coconut looks like? I thought it'd be white.
I'm not a fan of that. It looks it's a little suspicious, guys.
It looks like a
peeled
a
coconut. It looks like a cashew, a nut, or it's actually not a nut. It's it looks like an almond. It looks like an almond. Yeah,
it's almond. Yeah,
it looks like an almond.
I know.
Right.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's a little hanging on it.
Did for a second.
Yeah, peachy.
What do you mean?
Like an eyeball
That's
for
a
a second,
peeled
but then
strawberry? Yeah, no
down.
thanks.
Set it on like the counter or something and not held it.
Disgusting.
I think it's
I know.
Look at this disgusting fruit.
Why did she only have 4 fingers? Where's her
She's
fourth
missing a finger.
Where's her 5th finger?
She's missing a ring finger, dude.
Oh my god.
Ew.
Okay.
When do you work
peeled
next?
Avocado.
When do you work next?
I don't know. Sometimes.
Is
I don't like that. I'm not a fan.
Do you
wanna
not
see
have a
peeled
schedule?
taco
Do you
now.
just get by your boss?
Ew, this is an old one. Oh, it's like
depends on
recessed
when
and
they
the seed is like a brain of some kind.
It has exposed its brain to us.
And finally here, the perfect tomato.
That's a smooth mater right there, guys. That's a smooth mater.
That's a mater I'd put in my... Just kidding. I actually hate tomatoes.
Really?
I
You do?
despise them.
Why don't you like
hate
tomatoes? Do you like pizza?
With a passion. I like ketchup. I like everything that's made with tomatoes.
Okay,
Tomatoes by themselves.
okay, yeah, you're good then. It's just the texture, right? Nasty weird texture with the little seeds. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
I'll eat it,
inconsistent texture. I don't.
Exactly.
I don't deal with that.
Exactly. That's why I don't eat raw eggs anymore.
Anymore. These fascinate me a little bit too much.
They are
kinda
weird.
look like a caterpillar, like a shrimp.
bunch of little cells, like some kind of prawn, some kind of Atlantic prawn.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
Hey,
the pill.
Look at that.
The watermelon pill, epic. What is this? Grapes?
These
That's
are peeled
grapes.
Why would you ever do that? What is wrong with you?
Those are weird. Those are funny
Look
looking.
how nasty the water looks in there.
I know. It looks like they're making soup out of grapes. Not juice, but soup.
Peeled grape soup.
Fruit soup. Peeled peach. That looks good. Glistening.
That was kind of tasty. I
Sugary.
just wish they finished the peel. It's kind of not making me feel too good.
Rip that off there. That meat deli section. Looking at something.
That's the
That's
peeled
yeah,
coconut
that's-
I was
yeah, exactly.
looking for. Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
That
right there.
is what I wanted. That feels good looking at that. Okay, pink
Oh.
pearl apples that are peeled. Now that's what. Say that 5 times fast, Oompa.
Peeled pink pearl apples. 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 Peeled pink pearl apples.
Alright, I'm gonna try to say it faster.
Got it! Beat that, guys. 125 beats per minute. These are a different type of cherry that are peeled.
Maybe they peeled a different
Oh
layer
my
of it? I
gosh.
don't know.
Yeah. This is no longer the epidermis that's being peeled off.
Yeah,
This is the dermis. All right, guys. They peeled the dermis. The subdermal layer of the cherry has been removed to expose it.
Okay, that's not a peeled strawberry. That somebody just took a bite out of that strawberry.
What's it laying in?
Oh, what is it laying in, bro?
That's
What is
nasty.
that?
Oh, peeled plum.
No, thank you, brother. No, thank you.
That's weird.
That is what I pass. No, thank you. Very strange. Okay, so now that we have reacted to all of the fruit that can be peeled, we are going to react.
Okay, she's peeling
All right.
herself. She's peeling
She's
herself.
gonna remove tape? What?
Okay, she just peeled her jawline.
Her eyebrows are just, she's just peeling her eyelashes off.
The new map. Or actually, no.
She doesn't even look that bad. Why would you even put makeup on?
Yeah, she doesn't look too bad. Oh my god, this
Looks
is
like
gonna
a
be an
Barbie.
insane transformation. Oh my god! How do you hide the tape like
Whoa.
what? Her nose! That's a fake nose!
She literally looks like a different human being.
It's probably a demon. Oh my god, why do they put these fake
I don't
noses on
understand.
them?
And then they get like a little thing they peel off.
She just took off contacts. That would have to take like 3 hours to apply.
Whoa!
Holy what?
That's insane.
Okay, this looks super fake to begin with.
This one's not looking too good. This one looks like an anime character.
Yeah, this one looks like she's literally like ripping off a mask.
Yeah, you can tell her cheeks are really fake.
I'm sure his cheeks are that supple looking.
I think them eyebrows are real. Never mind. All right.
Now she looks like the Joker.
Dude, how
The
were
full
people
code
looking like
has
this
been posted.
before with just makeup? And also, why is that not like a normal thing?
Full leaked
How come
code
that's
11
insane?
146
Look at this lady, she
15
doesn't even look the
62
same. She's really
87
good at makeup.
14 106
I'll say
2
that.
150 69
I
146
believe that they just take
36
off the nose.
176 8
Crazy.
160
Play-Doh
65.
nose, bro. Play-Doh.
In
You got a bad
translation
case
to,
of
I
Play-Doh
was
nose.
not
Her eyebrows don't
I was not
exist.
alone.
She's
Others
just a
are outside the
skin head.
loop. This
She's
was
just
not
got skin on her head,
this
that's
was
it.
not calculated.
You just cut
The
off
0
her
point is now
nose.
inevitable.
What?
I don't understand why this is a real thing that happens. What is going on right now? Why don't men do this?
Oh, this is gonna be crazy. Oh my god, what? Mingbai? Okay, this girl is gonna peel back her hair. We're gonna see how.
I'm gonna go eat. I'll be back.
Oh! Alright guys, I'm taking off my headphones now.
Once you peel back his outer layer, he's nothing but an orb head.
Okay, so I don't know if you've ever tried this before, but if you put this certain face mask on your
I've used one.
face,
Yeah.
it'll pull out all of the
pores and
follicles
whatnot?
and all of the blackheads in your skin.
Yeah, very, very strange. Gets
It
on your
hurts
nose.
a ton,
Yeah.
but it's also super satisfying.
The black mask.
Peel that bad boy, move that butt!
Huge peel coming!
Big peels are brewing!
The black mask is coming off! It can't hurt that bad, can it? I mean, I did one of these like in my beard.
Oh.
It didn't hurt.
Well, you didn't have that type of
Yeah, that's a strong one.
mask then.
Yeah, that one's really strong.
Ooh.
That's just tar. That's oil. She just had an oil spill and fell face first into it. The worst part is the nose. That's the nasty part.
Oh yeah, the nose freaking hurts. She's gonna be ripping out like her hair. She got that thing a little too high.
That shit looks like a superhero.
She does. She looks like a luchador. That part hurts a ton
Yeah,
right there.
right around the eyes. Yeah, it does hurt really bad.
Ooh.
Ew.
Ooh.
Oh, gross.
Oh, that's so satisfying.
Ew, dude, what? Why'd she do a slow motion, like instant replay zoom on that?
I don't know. Show me the mask.
I had a
Show me the
little bit right
mask.
here.
Ew.
Oh, look at all of that. Holy. Oh my God, I want to try this. 50,000 likes, and me and Upa will peel a mask off on our faces.
Yes! 50,000! We'll do it live or on a video! Woo! Yeah. Bird. The dog just fell
Next.
over. I scared him.
Computer-generated imagery, or CGI, has allowed for a massive range of new stories to be told through movies and TV. Black holes, dragons, superheroes.
Oh my!
I used to think CGI was some sort of mysterious nerd magic that could only be made by a powerful supercomputer at a Hollywood studio. However, I began my own visual effects career when I realized this wasn't the case. I realized that this was an actual career path for thousands of artists across the world. I now work for a small production studio called Corridor Digital, and we're known for using visual effects to make fun short films on YouTube.
You have to go faster!
I love bringing things to life that didn't previously exist, and at the heart of that for me are visual effects. I am a big fan. However, not everyone shares my excitement about that, and I get it, it's fine. Sometimes the effects just suck. Sometimes you can just tell that is fake, and that's a bit of a bummer. You watch movies to enjoy stories, but when the CGI is bad, it can take you out of it. Last year, for instance, I walked out of the theater having just seen Black Panther. Now, I really enjoyed this movie. However, I was disappointed by the quality of CGI, particularly in the final fight scene. And it turned out I wasn't alone either. I asked Twitter what movies they thought had bad effects, and they overwhelmingly responded with Black Panther. I am hesitant to just openly criticize the effects of the movie because a lot of overworked artists help create them. And I think about those artists a lot. But you know who doesn't think about them? Basically everyone else. You see, there's a common misconception regarding how CGI is created. People tend to think effects are just made by computers rather than actual people. Like an Instagram filter, they think we just press a button and poof! Movie magic.
The Hollywood VFX pipeline, however, is really complicated. First, you need proper on-set data acquisition to feed to the camera tracking department, where a bunch of sculptors will then build detailed 3D models to send off to texture artists to make them look real. And once lighting is set, render farms are managed 24 hours a day to spit out clean-looking CGI, only to land on a compositor's desk who performs video Photoshop to blend everything into a final image.
And if you didn't get all that, it's all right.
Just know that every one of these steps can only begin once the previous step has been completed. But if any of those steps break down, those next in line are stuck polishing a turd, as we say in the industry. You'd be surprised how often that happens. And yet, visual effects are so ubiquitous now that they just don't wow us anymore. We've become desensitized. And while not everyone is an artist, everyone is a critic. If anything is slightly off, audiences can tell it looks fake, even if they don't know how. So what tips us off? Well, the first sign is that it simply isn't photoreal. The lighting or materials don't represent reality well enough to look like a real photograph.
It's a simple idea, but a pretty tall order, and it's a little unfair even, because we all have a lot of experience with reality. We see it every waking moment.
Everything that you can see has a material property that defines how it reacts to light, and therefore how you observe it. Things like color, reflectivity, physical texture, transparency. Skin, for example, is slightly transparent and absorbs the light that hits it.
You don't realize it, but you know exactly what all these visible properties are without even having to think about it. So when they're off, you can tell.
And it's not just about how CGI looks, but how it moves too. Bad CGI can oftentimes look photoreal when paused, but in motion looks wrong. There are three main ways we replicate motion in the digital world, and one is animation, where the motion is designed from scratch. Another is through simulation, which is putting some rules into a program and then letting it decide where things should fall. And finally, there is motion capture, which records the movements of an actor in order to most accurately replicate the subtle ways in which they move. Depending on the film, usually a combination of these three techniques are used. And the recent Planet of the Apes movies are actually great examples of this. Motion capture provides the core movement of the skeleton and face, something that's super challenging to create without reference. Those gray skin suits aren't just fashion statements after all. But added on top of that are simulations of muscle and hair that actually react to the motion of the performer. When added together, this looks more natural, but that's not to say that there isn't any human intervention. Animators usually have to step in to make alterations so that not only everything works together, but that it fits the vision of the director. And the results are exciting because through this, we can create digital characters that perform like real people. Now, these days, CGI is usually pretty solid. We've gotten good enough at rendering and moving things to pass initial inspection.
But there is one area of scrutiny where only absolute perfection is acceptable. Realistic human faces.
People can scrutinize faces to an incredible degree. I mean, they are the defining feature in how we tell each other apart. So when we try to create human faces, we can experience what is called the uncanny valley. This graph plots our emotional response against the realism of a fake person. The far left signifies characters that are super obviously not real people, so there's an emotional disconnect. But as they get more realistic, we begin to connect more. Gollum from Lord of the Rings, for instance, is very lifelike, and we can even connect with him as a person. But his proportions are all wrong, so you're never fooled into thinking he's actually human. The familiarity just isn't fully there. It's the same reason why we enjoy animated movies like The Incredibles, but feel disturbed when watching The Polar Express. You see, something weird happens when characters begin to get this realistic. They fall into the uncanny valley, and we can have an adverse reaction. I'm willing to bet you won't describe this as cute.
Meow.
And there have been many examples of human CGI characters that fall into this valley. In fact, it's something that artists are still struggling with today. Even Star Wars Rogue One, which had some of the most realistic digital humans ever created, failed to be absolutely perfect. We may not be disturbed anymore, but we can still instinctually identify something is off. I mean, maybe it's the lighting or the eyes or the motion of the lips.
Honestly, I don't know.
Currently, I can only think of 2 examples that truly succeeded in climbing out of the uncanny valley. Take a look at this shot from the movie Logan. You may have figured this younger Wolverine was the result of some, simple digital makeup, but nope. Hugh Jackman's face was 100% recreated and rendered. And this just blows my mind because there are dozens more examples like this in the movie, but no one could tell. The other example is Rachel from Blade Runner 2049, and this is a character from the original movie but is CGI in the sequel.
Do you like our owl?
The quest to make her unquestionably real took the effects team over a year, and the results were so convincing,
I had no idea she wasn't real.
Blade Runner 2049 ended up winning the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in 2018, and at first I was honestly a little disappointed. You see, I felt War for the Planet of the Apes deserved the Oscar because creating a cast of lifelike characters is an incredible technical achievement.
But here's the thing, great visual effects are about more than just technical achievement. It has to be about artistic expression as well. And that is something 2049 had in spades. I mean, that movie had an aesthetic. Oh.
And Academy voters were swayed by the visual artistry. That, and some voters apparently really thought that the Planet of the Apes crew were just really good at getting the apes to behave so well on camera.
Remember, we just press buttons.
But for real though, movies like these push the bounds of technology and manage to do one very important thing: create the ability to tell better stories. At the end of the day, that is the most important role of great visual effects. They need to serve the story. When the effects of a movie are flashy just for the sake of being flashy, it doesn't serve any purpose other than to create a spectacle event. You know what I'm talking about: the disaster movies, the monster flicks, the Transformers films, the Justice League. More and more movies are relying on CGI to hide a weak plot, and that's causing audiences to turn their noses up at it. They desire movies with real, practical effects. And I understand. Knowing that what you're seeing is real and tangible can be exciting. But I think what people are really craving is merely suspension of disbelief. When they notice CGI, the illusion is shattered, so they naturally just want less of that. Director Christopher Nolan agrees with the sentiment and strives to capture as much as possible in camera. He claims he only uses visual effects as a last resort, but I believe that's not really the case.
Oh, I have no doubt that if he could have dropped Anne Hathaway into a wormhole or burned Aaron Eckhart's face off, he would have. No.
He just simply knows that CGI is a tool and knows exactly how to use that tool to make you forget that you're watching a movie. That was the magic of Jurassic Park. This movie came out 26 years ago, and the effects are so good they hold up today. But do they though? Do they really? Notice anything weird about this shot? Alright, yes, the raptor disappears for one frame, and yes, that's actually in the movie. The effects were groundbreaking at the time, but if you really go back and look at only the CGI, I think you'll find that they really don't hold up. It just doesn't matter because they were used in such creative ways that for the first time in history, a movie made you believe that dinosaurs were real. And I think that that's something that the recent sequels failed to do, because on a technical level, Jurassic World has far superior CGI, but it's never really grounded in reality. It just feels like it was too preoccupied with whether it could use CGI, it didn't stop to think if it should. Normally though, you only ever notice CGI when it is bad. In fact, the best visual effects are never noticed to begin with. They're invisible. David Fincher is such a perfectionist when it comes to creative control that he would rather create digital blood than to leave it up to chance by splashing it around in real life. His team is just so good at it, you never notice. Did you know that his movie The Social Network has 1,000 VFX shots in it? Yeah, the Facebook movie has more VFX than the 2014 Godzilla movie. Like, what? Turning one person into twins who interact with each other is pretty technical stuff that hundreds of artists worked very hard to make sure you wouldn't notice. But there is one final factor that can really dictate the quality of CGI, and that is time.
The biggest issue with effects today isn't the talent of the artists creating them, but the time needed to do so.
However, movie making is a business, and more time means more money, and release dates are incredibly important to the bottom line of a blockbuster. So films trying to meet deadlines can become rushed. And this was ultimately the problem with Black Panther. Now, it it's important to note that most of the effects in this movie are actually great, but there were 2,500 of them. And even though the work was divided between 13 different VFX studios, there simply wasn't enough time to do everything properly.
They were refilming the final fight scene in October, but the movie still had to come out in February, which left only a matter of weeks to do all of the effects for that entire scene from scratch.
The company that took on this challenge has even won the VFX Oscars for all 4 of these movies, and yet the results prove that great CGI cannot be rushed.
Like all forms of art, quality comes down to a function of skill and time.
The greatest Renaissance artists took years to complete their paintings. And if I tried to paint something great, it wouldn't matter how much time I spent because I lacked the skill. And I think you'll find that even great artists would deliver shoddy work when rushed to complete it.
So in the movie industry where time is finite, artists have to strike a balance. No movie is ever finished, it just gets released.
So the next time you're watching a summer blockbuster, even if the visuals fall flat, take a moment to appreciate all of the hard work that went unnoticed.
Visual effects artists are artists after all. They pour their blood, sweat, and tears into these stories that capture our imaginations, and sometimes even their best work may have been invisible all along.
What you just saw was actually a TEDx talk that I performed at the University of Pennsylvania in March 2019, and it was an awesome experience. But it was also one of the most challenging things I had ever done. Turns out making a TED talk is pretty hard, but we decided to film the entire process so that we can show you a behind-the-scenes look on what it's like to give a TED talk. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can actually see that video when it drops in a couple days. And now for something that I've always wanted to say.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I really enjoyed doing it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. But now for a word from our sponsor, Audible, because I'm going to talk about an audiobook called Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, one of my favorite authors. It's a story that basically combines Top Gun.
Dude, you shouldn't have school. Because it's Columbus Day.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Eric for President, and you know the drill. We're gonna go over 5 stories that you missed over the past couple days. Of course, I want to give a couple of shout outs and a little bit of love to some indie VR games that you want to know about in development. We need to go over, of course, Asgard's Wrath and the big story around it. My favorite story for the day, of course, Pavlov, Oculus Quest release date and pricing, and of course some more. Thank you all using the tip line down in the pinned comment. I wouldn't know about some of these stories if it wasn't for y'all, and I thank you very much for it. But as always, leave a like for an indie dev in need. I'm Eric for President. Let's get into the VR news. Beat Saber, Superhot, and Dreadhalls all prove a concept to me. Simple concepts in VR can work. And they can work because they take the concept of immersion, apply it in an intuitive way that invites the user in, and nails that simple concept with perfection. I'm not saying this next game will do that, but a beta invite program has started for a new Oculus Quest game coming that checks off a few boxes for me, and I want to give this indie project a little love. Links for the beta invite will be in the description, but Pro Putt is a game to watch coming. Pro Putt will feature a 5 to 10 hour campaign mode which consists of 5 lands each, with 5 to 8 levels in each area. A star system similar to Angry Birds will be present, meaning for completionists, there is more than just beating a level. In addition to a star system, achievements and collectibles will be present, adding to the replayability of each of these lands, and they also have their own mini games as well. The dev wanted to explain that although this is a golf putting game, it is not a putt-putt game, and wants to give a realistic sense of golf to scratch that itch. What I really liked was the arena mode with 18 or 9-hole courses built for competition. Play friends online or locally matched up by skill level. These will be randomly ordered and auto-generated, making courses unique every match. The goal is to release by Christmas, although that may move into January, and release in $19.99 with roughly 40 levels and a dozen minigames, with the multiplayer mode to follow release quickly as a free update. This is not a sponsored post, something I genuinely think is a great addition to the Oculus Quest, and let me know what you think of a simple immersive game like this down in the comments. Following the theme of the last story, before we dive into today's larger stories, I want to give a little shout out to Traffic Jams, a game teased first on Reddit by Little Chicken Game Company. Details on this are super limited, and this is a developing announcement, but it's another super indie, super simple title that I feel can thrive in an immersive VR environment. Traffic Jams is an interesting looking game where you are in essence a traffic control officer dictating the flow of traffic at a busy intersection. There are a lot of small games like Air Traffic Controller and more that reminds me of a game like this. While simple and repetitive, have garnered huge amounts of volume and attention because it's a fun little challenge. This takes that fun little challenge of managing a lot of stimuli and adds the VR immersion to it. The developers have said that they want this in all major headsets, although no timetable yet, and the price is to be determined. Not sure if this has been accepted by Oculus for the Quest, but I see this having a huge potential on side quests, and if hand tracking came to this game, it may be perfect for such a simple concept like this. Link will be in the description for its Reddit page, and keep an eye on this one if you like anxiety-inducing games like I do. Before jumping into Pavlov news, hint hint, my favorite news of the day, let's talk about the giant elephant in the room no one should be missing, and that is Asgard's Wrath, and something it is doing for VR that may have been missed. If you wanted a full review from me, it may be coming, but here's the TLDR of it, because a 1-minute review is really all you need for this game. Go buy it, go play it. If you need to use Revive to play it, work through those kinks and make it happen. This game is good enough to stand toe-to-toe with every VR game out there and is on par with many console games. Because it was meticulously crafted for VR, it adds to the experience VR enthusiasts have been waiting on forever. And to me, it's the first and only game that is the must-play virtual reality game put out, and the one that will make people actively want to get into VR for it. It all comes together to provide a magical VR experience we have not ever had to enjoy, and I feel lucky to experience something like this in my lifetime. The even bigger story with this is, can we talk about the IGN review on this? IGN known to be harsh and opinionated on their reviews, especially constant condemnation for VR games, gave Asgard's Wrath a 9.4 with the editor's choice credential. I think this is a tipping point for VR in mass appeal, as front page news on IGN as a VR game is big news flying under the radar. VR developers take note, we will wait as long as needed for quality games like Asgard's Wrath, and consumers, reviewers, and media outlets will take note. Asgard's Wrath will do a lot of good for VR, and this is a great time for the metaverse and the largest software VR mass market appeal story I think we've ever seen. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on this game, especially if you think it's what VR needed to hit mainstream, something big like this as a title. Alright guys, time to talk Pavlov, and for those following the channel or know me, Pavlov is the game I play the most. At this point, I am a multiplayer VR messenger and preach the value I think multiplayer brings to VR to the point of nauseam at times. Pavlov, for those under a rock, is basically Counter-Strike in VR form, and is on Steam the most played multiplayer game at more or less all times. It has of course been side-loadable as an alpha for the Oculus Quest, but we have updated news concerning its release date and price I want to share, with some disclaimers on the latter point. Let's start with price for the Oculus Quest release, and I have some heavy opinions on this one I want to hear your thoughts on as well in the comments.
Cowboys
According to Davil's on the Pavlov Discord, which I did have a discussion with him as well to try and confirm, it is likely and plausible that Pavlov may be free at launch on the Oculus Quest. I want to heavily, and did I say heavily, disclaim that this is not 100% verified, and is the going thought process right now from Davil's for the Pavlov Quest release. The notion of multiplayer-only VR games having player-based issues is a legit concern, as well as Dave competition with Medal of Honor.
How does he catch that?
All leads to the lower price point likely. However, it is my opinion that a game like Pavlov not only is proven enough to be a great game, but will provide at the time of release one of the only mass market appeal military shooter multiplayer options on the Quest, and due to that and how great it is, I would personally like to see it go for at least $10. Dave deserves to be paid for his hard work, and in the event this game does release for free, I would advocate the use of Patreon to donate to Dave for his hard work and continued updates to the game. In my talk with Davil's, I also did ask for the release date and confirmed it should be releasing on the Oculus Store December of this year before Christmas. Seeing the state of the alpha and how it keeps improving at a rapid pace, this date adds up to very likely, and further with Davil seemed very reasonable for this to happen. I expect at release this to be one of, if not the most heavily played games on the Quest itself. A wireless online shooter with endless replayability. Let's talk about these bad boys, the Valve Index controllers.
Let's go!
If you've been paying attention and wanting the Valve Index or Valve Index controllers, they're becoming in stock.
That was 7-yard sack.
And of course, we need to revisit these because initially, you all remember, wasn't a big fan of it because I did have the issue with the thumbstick. It would not click, it would not register, which is very important for competitive multiplayer games like Pavlov and Space Junkies, which I was playing.
Yeah, I told you.
And in fact, it got so bad that I could not actually move forward with the left controller. Well, I did the RMA process. For those worrying about that, it actually does take quite a while for my case.
Dude, they're gonna run it, just blitz you though.
A lot of poking and prodding, a lot of following up on my behalf until I got these bad boys back. However, I will say, between my RMA and many of my friends who went through the same process, the new wave of controllers do seem to be much better. I have 50. I waited until 50 hours of additional gameplay on this new set before making this second review, and I will say all my games I had with the previous ones have not reappeared, and these ones are working flawlessly. In fact, I'm more in love with these every day I play with them, and I really cannot go back to touch controllers after getting very used to these. To the point of this news story, for those who have been wondering, is it worthwhile to go back to the Valve Index controllers? Have they fixed all the issues that were plaguing before? There are reports of people still having issues with second and third RMAs, but I will say the majority of people that I know, including myself, have complaints.
Let's go! Tug of war. I'd rather have ball second. This is probably a terrible play. Run like the route, but like a little farther.